back in March, and the second season is coming in 2021. So if you haven't seen it, make sure to put that in your queue for after the convention this weekend.
So ladies and gentlemen, here is Paru Itagaki.
We're here with Paru Itagaki, the creator of the hit manga BEASTARS, which was adapted into a 3D CG anime earlier this year that's airing now on Netflix. I'm going to be asking her some questions about the development of the manga, what's going on in the manga currently, her work, and the development of the anime series. Thank you for joining us today, Itagaki-san. Before you started BEASTARS, you released a work called Beast Complex, which, like BEASTARS, focused on the relationships between herbivores and carnivores. In a world of anthropomorphic animals, of course. How does that connect to BEASTARS, and how did your work on that story influence what BEASTARS ended up becoming?
ビーストコンプレックスはビースターズの連載が決まる前にまず短期で4話集中連載をやろうっていう、お試し、私自身のお試し期間みたいな感じで作られた作品なんですけど、結構内容は割と大人向け、ビースターズより青年漫画的な内容になっているので、それをより少年漫画っぽくしたのがビースターズになっています。
BEASTARS has been serialized for 4 years now. How has your approach to the series changed over the years? Would you say that your work has improved with time and experience spent working on the series?
そうなんかさっきも言ったように、そのビースターズは割と最初はその少年漫画にするために作った設定がたくさんあって、学園ものにするとか、その主人公をそのまだなんか思春期の男の子にするとか、なんかそういうなんか少年漫画のための策略みたいなのがどんどんなくなっていって、よりなんか最初から私が描きたかったものに戻ってきているような気がして、なんか今はすごい描きやすいですね、私としては。
So you mentioned that you didn't have a protagonist decided when you were creating the series, and that actually leads into my next question really well. As BEASTARS is approaching its conclusion, the nature of the relationship between Legoshi and Rui is, as dual protagonists, is becoming a lot more clear. You mentioned that this wasn't planned from the beginning. How did you end up developing this as the story progressed through serialization?
そうですね、なんかルイはもう本当は2巻ぐらいで死ぬ予定ではあったんですけど、だんだん4巻5巻ぐらいからこう辛い目に遭うことで魅力が増していくキャラクターだなってことに気づいて、そうやっていじめ抜いたことでこう成長を遂げたルイがもうレゴシと並ぶくらいの存在感を自然と持ってきたイメージですね。
Yeah, Rui has a very strong personality at the beginning, so it's cool to see how he's developed over the course of the story for sure. Talking about how you mentioned having to think about things differently when developing a shonen series tend to have young, human, and typically male characters as the main cast. What was the publisher's reaction when you pitched BEASTARS as a series about anthropomorphic animals?
もう最初から動物の漫画を投稿してたんで、そこに対する驚きはそんな向こうもなかったと思うし、なんかその少年漫画は少年の成長を描く漫画として、結局レゴシも少年だから描くことはそんな変わんないかなって思ってます。
So kind of building off on that, earlier this year you sat down with Exile Sekai for an interview during our BEASTARS feature month. And during that interview you mentioned that the worldview of anthropomorphic characters wasn't really meant to be a metaphor for discrimination happening in the real world or like anything related to gender or religion. But it was rather inspired by something different. You didn't really elaborate on that. How did you come up with the general concept of BEASTARS and make the decision to use anthropomorphic characters in the series?
出発点どうだろう。出発点なんか 動物をキャラクターにした世界観で、例えば犬のキャラクターが犬のキャラクターを散歩してるみたいな、そういう矛盾が子供向けの作品だとあったりするんですけど、まあその矛盾をこうからかう子供とかが私の周りでもたくさんいて、なんかそれがすごい嫌でなんかそういう矛盾のないなんかちゃんと種族間の関係を明確にした動物作品を描きたいっていうのがずっと自分の中にありました。そういう矛盾をたこう指摘するのって私は結構野暮なことだと思ってて、でなんかそういう人たちをもう黙らせるくらいの作品ってできないのかなって思って、説得力のある動物の世界を自分で作りたいってそこで思ったんですよね。
Yeah, I was honestly really surprised when I had first read the series and also watched the anime as to how serious and real everything feels. Even though they're anthropomorphic characters, they feel like real people sometimes, and I think that comes through in the way that you develop the story. Moving on to the anime a little bit, I wanted to ask, obviously when a manga is made into an anime, that's a major milestone for a creator. What was your initial reaction when you first learned that BEASTARS was going to be adapted into an animation?
なんか最初はアニメ化するかもしれないぐらいの結構グレーな感じで教えてもらったんで、なんか自分の作風がちょっと独特っていう自覚もあったんで、まああんま期待せず、もうできたら嬉しいなくらいのなんか覚悟を持ちながらそれを聞きました。
I heard you were really active with the development of the animation for BeaStars as well. How did you manage to be so active in that development while still working on the manga simultaneously? Did working with the studio affect your day to day work at all?
まあ、基本的にキャラクターデザインのチェックと脚本のチェックくらいだったかなと思うんですけど、なんかアニメ制作者側からすれば結構原作者ってもう邪魔だと思うんで、なんかそんなにうるさく言わないようにっていうのをすごく気にしながらやってました。
So you maintained quality control while not really letting it get in the way of your work. That's really interesting and also pretty incredible. I'm thinking about the transition from 2D to 3D CG for the characters right now. And the way they come to life in the manga already is like amazing because your drawings are so expressive. And 3D CG is becoming more common in the animation industry, but it's always kind of had a mixed response from fans in regards to the quality of it. While the end result for BeaStars from Studio Orange is beautiful and like absolutely fantastic, did you have any reservations about the use of 3D CG instead of hand-drawn animation when the series was first being developed?
私は今でも自分の漫画は全部アナログで描いてて、結構線を重ねて重ねてもうデッサンするようにキャラクターを描くんですけど、なんかその CG で綺麗に正確に作ることと私が線を重ねて描くことってなんか目指してるところは結局同じというか、キャラクターを実体化するっていう、だからなんかその同じ志を感じて結果的にすごい私はなんか面白いことになったなって思ってます。
So building on that a little bit, because the animation is so beautiful and there are so many scenes in the anime that just pop off of the screen and are amazing to watch, you spoke with Sekai earlier this year for our BeaStars feature month. And at that time, you had mentioned that you really liked the result of the sword fight scene between Bill and Legoshi on stage. Were there any other scenes in the animation that you were surprised by the end result or felt had a very strong impact when you finally saw it in motion?
地下鉄の中でレゴシとハルがこう常に死と隣り合わせの 動物の気持ちなんて分かんないくせにって言った時にこうちょうど電車が通り過ぎるっていうそういう脳内の演出が完全に映像化されてたんでなんかすごい監督と通じ合ったのかなってなんかそういうなんだろう感動がすごいありましたね。
Yeah, that scene in particular is one of the ones that really stood out to me as well. I think a lot of the character interactions between Legoshi and Haru have like a real life feeling in animation. They express just so well on screen, and I think Studio Orange did an amazing job with capturing that in the story. Going back to talking about the manga a little bit though, the art style has changed a bit from the beginning to where we're at in the serialization now. And I don't know, it feels like there's something of a different artistic quality to it, or maybe that you're using different techniques. Was this a conscious change that you made? How do you feel like your art has progressed over the years and the time in developing the story?
結構難しい問題であんまりこう上手くなりすぎても良くないとか、絵柄がこう変化するのって作者にとってはいい方向に変わってても読者にとっては良くない方向だったりするんで、まあそこは本当読み手がどう思うかですね。私はもう今の自分の絵がやっぱり最前線なので一番いいかなとは思ってます。線とかトーンがすごくシンプルになったんですよね。初期はもう重ねて貼ってもうトーンと線がぐちゃぐちゃになるまで立体化しようと奮闘してたんですけど、なんか今ではそれがよりシンプルになってなんだろう効率とスピードを求める絵柄になったと思います。
Yeah, so I imagine it's a pretty hard balance to draw between both speed and the quality of the work. Also, doing what makes you happy and what makes your fans happy. There's a lot to juggle in there, but I feel like the result that we've seen so far has been great, so definitely keep it up. I wanted to ask about your other story, Parno Graffiti. It's an autobiographical work that you've created, and it's not something that I feel that occurs very regularly in serialized manga. What was your motivation behind creating something that revealed more about yourself in this way?
やっぱなんだろうな、誰でもミステリアスな作家でいたいみたいな願望ってあると思うんですけど、まあ、普通に私には無理だなって思って、まあ、あとエッセイ漫画好きなんでなんか書いてみたいなって思ってたのもあって本当素直になろうという気持ちで書いた作品です。
Do you find it challenging to create manga that's so personal in that way, like talking about your real life experiences?
いや逆にストーリー漫画より全然ただ自分のぼやきを書いてるだけなんで難しさはなくて、本当私は人と喋るのが好きなんでそれを漫画に書き起こしただけ、シンプルな漫画です。
I think it's really cool that you want to open yourself up to people like that and that you're willing to share your life in this way. I've noticed that on social media you have a lot of international fans as well, and you interact with them a lot, and they'll reply with photos and tweets and memes and stuff. How does it feel to know that your work has so many passionate fans internationally as well?
昨日ちょうど今日本が梅雨なのでそろそろ快晴が見たいなってツイートしたらすごいいろんな国からの晴れた空の写真がこう返信できて、なんかああいう時に本当なんか世界的なほっこりというかなんだろう、なんかなんだろう、すごい大規模なんだけどこう身近な安心感感動みたいなものをなんか温かみみたいなのを感じますね。
So speaking about the international fans, or building on that a little bit, since the animation of BEASTARS on Netflix debuted, it's really opened up the series to a lot of different people, like people who don't read manga, people who don't regularly watch anime, or just found the series on Netflix. And the reception everywhere seems to be really positive. I actually have some friends who I wouldn't say are the biggest anime fans, but they watched the series after it debuted and they've had nothing but great things to say about that. Was this surprising to you at all that the series got this kind of reception from so many different people worldwide?
すごい驚いてます。なんでなんだろう、なんでこんなに海外の人から反応がもらえるんだろうって不思議ではあるんですけど、あんまその理由を作者が分析しない方がいいのかなとも思ってて、ただただ喜ぶだけにしています。
So I feel like in the West, part of the reason it's been so well received might have to do with Walt Disney's creations and movies of his like Robin Hood or things like Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, which feature anthropomorphized animals. And so like in the West, it's kind of normalized at this point. Do you think that maybe that has something to do with the popularity of BEASTARS as well? Or did it provide any influence to you when you were creating it?
なんか私もすごいディズニーアニメを見て育ったんで、多分私の、初恋の相手はライオンキングのスカーなんですよ。悪役のライオンなんですけど、なんかそこから私の何かが目覚めてしまってそれでこう動物の絵をたくさん描くことでビースターズが生まれたって思うと、多分ディズニーがなければビースターズは生まれてなかったのかなっていうのは思います。
I just wanted to make a quick comment about your studio. I see that you have a Joker poster in the background. Do you watch a lot of Western media or like consume any American comic book properties or related media?
私はアニメはほぼ見ない人で、本当ハリウッド映画とか韓国の映画とか海外の映画たくさん見てます。
Are there any things that you've seen recently that you would say that you're particularly a big fan of, like movies or TV shows that have debuted in the past year or so?
毎年夏になるとジュラシックワールドを見るんですけど、今年も例年通りまた見て、やっぱり最高の映画だなって痛感しました。
And I guess to wrap things up, do you have any messages that you'd like to give your fans worldwide?
いつも、ネット上とかで私に反応をくれたり、メッセージをくれて応援たくさん本当にありがとうございます。たまにこうグレーな方法でアップロードされたのかなっていう最新話を読んだよって報告くれるのはすごく嬉しいんですけれど、正規の翻訳版が出たら絶対買ってねっていう、そういう感謝の温かい気持ちをお届けします。
Yeah, I 100% agree. Everybody, please give your support. Thank you so much for talking with us today. It was great to chat with you, and I really appreciate you spending the time with us. We're all obviously looking forward to what you have next, so we'll be definitely keeping an eye out. And once again, thank you so much.
はもう終わりです。
ちょっと物で取らせてください。
サインも。
そうですね。じゃあ
サイン入れます。
サインも入れていただいて。
早いな。
なんか影とか入れて時間稼ごうと思ったの。ちょっとすみません。一旦ペンを。
大丈夫大丈夫。
And so that was Paru Itagaki.
Her illustration.
Yeah, at the end of it, yeah. Which you guys have an opportunity to win. This is the same illustration you saw at the end of it, that that short live drawing that she did for us. You can win it this weekend. Well, actually, at the end of this weekend. Go on Twitter, let us know what you thought about the panel, and follow at OTAQUEST on Twitter. Use hashtag OTAQUESTConnect, hashtag signboard, and hashtag Paru Itagaki to get your chance to win this incredibly unique original signboard that we got done. Her interview was really fun. She's such a pleasant person to talk to, even though she had the mask on the entire time.
Can you hear her?
Yeah. I mean, it took a minute for me to catch on to what was going on. And we were talking obviously over the internet, but yeah, I could hear her just fine. And she had some unexpected answers for some of the questions that I had for her. She was really, really nice to talk to, and that was like a pleasure to get that opportunity. So it was really cool.
Yeah, I didn't even know, until having an interview, I thought Paru was he.
That, a lot of people, I think, did it when she first started doing the manga stuff. And it came out a little while ago that it was a she, and some other things about her personal life, which, we didn't talk about it too much, but she's been drawing a manga about that, and I asked her about that, and she's been trying to open up a little bit more to people and share more of her personal life with everybody. So she has another manga in addition to BEASTARS called Parno Graffiti, which we talked about in the panel. So check that out if you could find it as well. Speaking of the BEASTARS manga, if you haven't read it yet and you want to read it, check out our Tokyo Otaku Mode special shop, and they've got all of the currently available in English volumes of the BEASTARS manga available for purchase in their special shop.
All right.